Hey, what's up guys? Aaron Taylor here with Tactical Hyve. For those of you that don't know my background, spent 10 years in naval special warfare, been contracting and consulting the last 8 years, and just linked up here with Tactical Hyve. We're gonna go over sling manipulations today. All right guys, welcome back. Sling manipulations. So this could be for either if you're military or if you're civilian on the range, doesn't matter. But a lot of what I see is that guys will have slings and they're not quite sure on how to, actually use them and how to manipulate them properly, whether you're picking up a downed man, grabbing something from the ground. And there's a lot of situations where you're gonna need to manipulate your weapon system around your body, and knowing how to use your sling properly can make that very effective or not. Personally, while I'm shooting, some guys will typically prefer to shoot with it slung around their actual back like this. I prefer around my neck. I just let it hang like this. So if I'm on a firing range and I'm not actually shooting, I'm listening to like one of the instructors, or I'm not actually manipulating the weapon system, it's just hanging on my neck like this. That way I can pick it up and I can shoot right here, and then nothing is in my way. It's up on my neck. I can hang, I can transition to a pistol, and it just hangs right here, right in front. That way I can manipulate everything that I need to, from my belt to my kit, and it's all right here on my neck. But then there's gonna be times whenever it's gonna, obviously hanging on your neck, and you wanna take some of that pressure off. What you can do is you can swim your support hand through that sling, and it rotates to your back, just like this. And that's the pretty simple. I think most people probably understand that piece, being able to let it hang like this. But now if you need to go to the ground, say you have a downed man, or you're picking up something, you don't want to be, kneeling down and then hitting the dude in the head with your barrel, or, sweeping, guys, stuff like that. So how are you going to put this behind you in a safe direction? What I do is you take your support hand, grab the actual barrel of your rifle, swim your firing hand through your sling, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna match your firing hand to your support hand where you're holding the end of your rifle, and then take that firing hand to maneuver it to your back. From here, you can tighten up your sling if you need to, loosen it, tighten it, if you're wearing kit, if you're slick, like I am now, however you need to. But now the muzzle's pointed down, I can bend down, I can pick up a guy for a downed man, I can pick up something from the ground, I can use my hands if I'm talking to somebody. Whatever I need to do right here with my weapon in a safe, muzzle is pointing in a safe direction, and it's on my back. Again, pointing it to your front, take your firing hand, you're just gonna grab the end of your barrel, swim it around, match your support hand to where your firing hand is, swim that arm back through, and then you'll see it's already in the firing position right here. I can go ahead and I can start firing from exactly where I am. If I need to, again, let it just rest and hang, not on my neck, all you're gonna do is swim that support hand through the sling, and it's already there. So there's an alternative position to have this on your back. I don't prefer it, it's not my favorite, and I'll tell you why. There's a few reasons. You can basically sling the rifle on your back, again, with kit or slick, but it's in the position where your barrel is facing up. Now there may be some instances, whether you're a military individual, if you're a law enforcement, whatever it is, if you're a civilian, there may be some instances where you want to have that for a very functional reason. That's not what I'm talking about. Just in general, day to day, whether I'm military, whether I'm law enforcement, whether I'm civilian walking around, I don't prefer to have my barrel facing up. And the reason being that, and I'll show you how to do it and how I do it if I were going to. I'll also tell you why you really shouldn't do it. So it does seem a little bit more simple, and I think some people may say, well, why don't I do this? Because it's a lot easier than the way that I just showed, doing the fire hand, support hand change off, is just to take it, grab your sling, and throw it over your back like that, right? Seems a lot easier, seems much more simpler than the way that I was doing with the swimming. But if you'll notice, what did I do whenever I did? Now to get it back, it's kind of challenging. Now you're trying to grab it, right? But what did I do? Like, you're sweeping everybody. So if you're standing in a group of your teammates, to do that, I mean, you have to move, it's just awkward and weird, and now you're fumbling with stuff, and it's much more, it may seem a little bit longer of a step to do it the way that I was talking right, like this, where you're swimming through, that may seem a little bit, a couple more steps, but it's much more functional. It's much safer versus swimming through, right? If you're sitting here at rest and then just sweeping everybody with your muzzle back like that. And now to go back, now you're grabbing your sling, you're trying to pull your sling up and grab this, sweeping everyone again. And then secondly, let's say it is right here, right? And I'm on like a down man drill, or it's actually a down man. You're military or law enforcement. Well, what happens whenever I bend over? Now I'm leaning over to grab something, and if it is loaded with one in the chamber, and I'm sweeping everybody with it just facing up. So, and then again, if you're in a helo, also you don't want anything pointing up. It's going into the rotors, right? So I'm a big fan of having barrels down. Another way is that instead of trying to grab it and pull it back over, some would say that you could do this, and that is true, but then you're swinging your arm back in to be in the shooting position. But personally, I just don't like to have it where if I like lean over or whatever have you, or I'm sweeping people to like put it behind me, or every time I like lean over, it's sweeping people. I don't like that. So it may seem like it's another extra little step in there to swim your arm through, but it is much safer, it's much more functional, and you're not gonna sweep anybody doing it. So let's go over that one more time again. So you're on the neck, this is where I prefer to actually shoot from. So I'll be shooting, and if I'm like in between, exercises or iterations, I just let it hang, talking to people, whatever it is. If I wanna take some weight off my neck, grab it, firing hand, support hand swims through the sling, let it hang. If I wanna put it on my back to my neck right here, all I'm gonna do is grab my barrel with my support hand, firing hand swims through and matches my support hand, switches over, and then now my support hand can grab my sling and pull it over my kit or your hood or jacket, whatever it is you're wearing, and at the same time you can pull it around. Now if I have to lean over, nothing's sweeping anybody. If I have to bend down and grab a down man, grab a box, grab something, it's pointed in a safe area. And then again, coming back, it automatically sets you up for that shooting position. So firing hand grabs my barrel, pulls it around, support hand matches, grabs the barrel, firing hand swims back through, and now you'll notice it's already in the neck position where my support hand is already grabbing the barrel. All I have to do is just grab firing hand and I'm back up into shooting. So guys, that's my preferred method in my sling manipulation. There are a lot of ways out there to do it. Everyone has their own way of doing it. And like I said, carrying it, port it up, port it down, however you want, depending on what you're utilizing and your functionality is, whether you're military, law enforcement, civilian, it depends, and that's up to you, but this is my preferred method. So again, just like sling manipulation, guys, there's many different ways and many different attachments. There's, all different types of gear out there, different types of slings. There's, the single point, there's a myriad of different sling options out there, right? My preferred method, I like a 2-point like this. I don't like having it with the attachment. You'll notice, so I have the QD attachment set up. I like that. It's quick and easy. It bumps right off. It's slick. You'll notice whenever you see me in kit and you see my rifle, I don't have a lot on here. Like I roll very, very slick. I roll clean. I don't like a bunch of gear and stuff everywhere. I'm very, very functional. I take functionality into account very, very much whenever I'm choosing my gear setup, my kit setup, my rifle setup for whatever it is that I'm doing and nothing more. That being said, I like the sleek, slick QD attachment. It's quick and easy. If for whatever reason I need to ditch this and take it off, I can do that. You can always roll this up if you need to and use rubber bands, and you can like rubber band it and attach it. Easy, it comes back out and you literally just push it in. So most of you are probably pretty familiar with a QD setup. For those of you that aren't, it's awesome. But again, I like to have it right here at the end of the lower receiver, kind of right here. Some people will rock it like out here in the front. The reason why I don't like that personally is that whenever you're doing mag changes and you're out here and it's way up here, it's weird with you have to tighten it and loosen it, and it's awkward. It gets in the way whenever you're doing mag changes. I find that when it's right here, it's the best like minimal position on the weapon to have your sling ported. And then, as well, QD attachment right here. I like to tape mine. You'll see a lot of military guys do it, maybe in law enforcement, and wonder why. Because when this is sliding, you don't want to have excess nylon or webbing getting caught up on your kit or your jacket, collar, whatever it is. So taping that, again, keeping it slick, clean, out of the way. That way it moves, you know, whenever I'm rotating it, using all the sling manipulation that we just went over, the tape keeps it nice and clean. And then you can get it to the position and the length that you like. And then once you have that length, you can tape it. So now you notice that it's taped right here as well. So that just gets it clean and, you know, out of the way. That way I can loosen this thing up if I need to. If I'm wearing a kit, obviously whenever you have kit and mags and comms and all that stuff on, your sling needs to be a little bit bigger to fit around all that. Whenever you're slick, or if you're wearing, you know, something like a slick carrier, whatever it is, then you can always tighten this up and make it tighter. Some guys do prefer single point, some guys prefer 2-point. I myself am a 2-point guy, clearly. The reason why, and I'll tell you this, the guys over here, they're all laughing at me because this inevitably happens all the time on a single point sling. When you're going to do your transition and you drop that rifle on a single point sling, it almost every time will hit you in the groin, and you're just on the range like, oh! So 2 points tend to not do that. So on a transition, you can drop that 2-point and it's not really gonna do that. One side note about that is that if you can get to where you manipulate your rifle, if you're a righty, if you're a lefty, it's gonna be opposite, right? But if you're a righty, whenever you drop your rifle, you can sling it to the left with your firing hand, and then when you go to your pistol, so that way whenever you're holstering your pistol to go back to your rifle, all you're doing is when your support hand grabs the end of your barrel and you're pulling that back up, it's already on line to reach up and grab, versus doing it slinging this way, and now it's caught up between your sling and stuff like that. So I prefer to have it with the left side of the rifle facing towards me whenever I go to do my actual transitions. So grabbing the pistol, right, pistol back in the holster, it comes right back up, right, you know, ready to reload. So that's what that is. All right, guys, so in conclusion, we went over sling manipulation and then the sling attachments and the different types of sling attachments and the reasons why I prefer what I prefer. To each their own, right? Gear and kit setup is very, very unique to the individual shooter. But yeah, so going over the sling manipulation, we went over why I don't like it port up versus being port down, how to do that. It may be a little bit longer, but I promise you it's a lot more functional. It's a lot safer to manipulate it that way versus just throwing it right over your neck and sweeping people and then having to come back, and it's just that's a mess. And then QD attachments, they're the best. I love them. 2-point slings, you won't hit yourself in the groin. It's awesome. So hope you guys like that video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear what you think, and we'll see you next time.